150 projects completed, over 30 states, 1.2 million acres surveyed, and about 4,000 ground control points. There's a whole side of this that's in the field, and it really starts with going out there and surveying control. It's a constant education from us to the client and a constant education back to us from the client.
Next on stage, we're happy to welcome Hayden Howard, Executive Vice President at Compass Data. With over 22 years of geospatial experience, he is a mastermind of survey methodologies. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hayden Howard on combining emerging tech and traditional survey. Enjoy, man.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hayden Howard, Executive Vice President, as was just mentioned. Compass Data is here in Denver, Colorado. We're a woman-owned small business, family-owned business, and a business that has been in business for 30 years this year. So we're excited to be here. I appreciate you guys coming to this. Here are the topics I'll be covering here. So a brief introduction, the evolution of the tech from basically when I started using it to now at a high level, the importance of a tailored approach for your customers and why that's important to stay competitive. Really key importance of defining the requirements of your customer. That's been key for our success in this portion here, this critical infrastructure and renewable energy. And then I'll be going over like what I'm most used to is the field logistics, the planning, the survey, all the stuff that happens before it gets to the office, before it gets processed. And then from there, there's a lot I cover, but there's a lot there that a lot of conferences don't cover quite as much, and that's kind of my background. So I'm going to talk about that some. We'll be talking about our multimodal data collection approach. So with being a 30-year-old company, starting off in survey, right here in Colorado, working with some of the space-based imaging companies and then some of the large aerial providers, we started surveying control and then going around the globe and collecting more and more data and adding it to this database. That's given us an opportunity to work with a lot of different industries, federal, private, big tech, nonprofit, and it's put us in scenarios where we're scanning all sorts of stuff, like something really small like my hand, trying to get every single detail of it, and then placing it in a room like this, where there's a lot of detail for a reality capture on that side, like on the indoor side, and then going from there to doing mobile, backpack for transmission distribution, all the way up to how do we do a county-wide aerial imagery, LiDAR collect. So I'll be going over that, how we use those tools and how we integrate it in for our customer. So again, the understanding of the end customer, I'll touch on that, and delivering actionable data. So what do they need? And a lot of times it's multidisciplinary, a lot of stakeholders. So understanding how the stakeholders all use the data, not just your contact that you're delivering to. And then going over lessons learned and best practices. Starting with the evolution of geospatial technology, this is a picture of me in 2001, and that was in Cape Town, South Africa. Does anyone know what equipment that is by chance? Trimble Pro XR. That was, as far as I can remember, probably the best unit that they had at the time. You sit there and collect a static between 15 minutes and an hour and a half, and it would result in sub-meter accuracy. So, and that depended on the base station network around you and a lot of different technology at the time. So a lot of things have changed since then. And it's, just thinking some of the major ones for me was like the expansion of the RTN, SmartNet, VRS networks that came along notably for me in 2015. Part 107 being implemented in 2016 from what was 333 exemption in 2014. SLAM-based LiDAR advancements in around 2019. And then what we're doing with the integration of AI and ML today, and as we have been doing. So there's a lot changing in the field equipment and the software, and it's getting better, right? So when it's getting better, it's more scalable, and it also reaches more customers. So the more customers it's reached over the years, it kind of comes back to us as geospatial professionals to be here at GeoWeek, understand what this technology is today, and then put it in the right place for our customers, right? Listen to them, understand what they need, and then pull it all together for them. So with understanding all that, right, it goes into the importance of the tailored approach, working with your customer, understanding the AOI, understanding their end requirements, and what systems you use, right? Do you just do traditional survey? Can you bring in aerial? Can you bring in drone and aerial? So a lot of that has led to our success with our clients, and it's been fun doing so. And again, defining the requirements up front. This in some ways is really easy depending on who you're working with. Like we do a lot of FAA stuff, and our customers have data quality requirements, and it's black and white. This is what we need. With a lot of the customers a lot of my customers on the critical infrastructure and renewable energy side, they have so many stakeholders that they know what they want, you can deliver it, but then if you can dive a little bit deeper and understand what the other stakeholders need, then you can really start to bring more value to the life cycle. And that's, again, that's been fun for us. And then what we have at Compass Data, and I'm sure a lot of people do, is HVC's high value customers. They're defined different ways, but call them whatever you want. My favorite customers to work with are those that we can work with closely. They understand that tech is changing. They have multiple customers on their end, and we can evolve the scope as we move from PO to PO. So this is the projects that we've done in the renewable energy and infrastructure surveying and mapping, just to give you an idea. So this isn't everything. We've been surveying all over the globe, doing ground control and other things, but 150 projects completed, over 30 states, 1.2 million acres surveyed. And that surveyed is that's aligned with a drone or aerial as well as ground survey, and about 4,000 ground control points surveyed. So a lot of complexity in all these jobs, a lot of experience between our team and our customers. There's a lot of detail from when the data hits the office, the post-processing, the calibration, the formatting, the delivery, what platforms uploading to this cloud and that cloud, integrating with Esri, other kind of deliverables. And it's really with our customers, it's typically not just one, we're doing it with multiple. But there's a whole side of this that's in the field, and it really starts there. Like the key foundation with the accuracy of the data starts in the field with the survey control. And there's a lot of pre-planning and site logistics that go along with that. So for our processes, which are ISO certified, we cover everything from make sure your batteries are charged, what kind of LAZ file format you need, to make sure you have an extra spare tire in your truck. So kind of covers the gambit. So a few other things that we do on this side of it is understanding the base station locations, network connectivity, cell coverage, are there NGS monuments, and a lot of access permission. Got to think about weather. So there's a lot to go over there. So, and then airspace, of course, if we're doing drone work. So just continuing on with that field logistics and planning. One thing that we've done, which has been successful for us, and I would suggest other folks do this as well, is we teach our field guys, what else can you collect while you're out there? Right? We have our scope, we have detail we have to capture, but if you see something in the field, you're the boots on the ground. Everyone else working on this data, not everyone, but most other people working on this data aren't there. They can't see what's live. So how do we grab more data, right? Whether it's a culvert or it's a survey pin that we weren't expecting that we set up on. So there's a lot of different examples of it, but it's preemptive collections that we make GIS compatible, that's shareable, and it's brought our clients a lot of value. Yeah, and another example here is we'll have a project in, let's just pick New Mexico or something. We go out, we survey, we're doing it with aerial, we're setting the control beforehand, we know the aircraft is coming, but our surveyor's going down, we have some kind of corridor that requires higher density. The aerial is spec'd to get that higher density, but if a drone LiDAR is available, we'll send it down and we'll do a corridor and we'll make sure that we have that density. Sometimes it just sits on the shelf and we never use it, but it's a practice that we use and it's been very helpful for us. These are most of our platforms here. We have more, but it kind of captures the overview of it. So, every one of these we are doing ground control. It's very rare when we don't, so that's always part of it. Going out there and surveying control. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll set up semi-permanent monuments, create a data sheet that looks very much like an NGS one, and that's part of a deliverable that our customers can use or we can use when we go back to this site if we have to, just to make sure that we're geodetically sound, right? Then there's the drone-based LiDAR and imagery, and this is where we really started doing a lot of this kind of work. But as the technology changed from what it was to now like a pod on a Cessna that you can ship around the country or something, it's really based on how big the location is. But I'd say we do probably 80% of our work with that or our partners that have aerial platforms that are around the country. So, and then terrestrial and mobile mapping is as far as bringing that together on a certain project. Sometimes if we have one sitting around, like we have some optical MX7s, which I don't even know if they sell them anymore, but we'll put it on our survey truck. Our surveyor will go out, do the survey, and then he'll drive around the project and capture that data. We'll process it, calibrate it, and then we'll just sit on the shelf. And then if we find out we need to go back and look for data that is missed or something happens, it's a way to keep us from having to go to the field again. It's a way for us to bring additional value to our clients. And it's something that we've used. Same with the mobile mapping system as well. So understanding the end user needs, and I've touched on this a little bit, but I don't know about you guys, but when we're working with the client, it's usually not the only one that touches the data. Even if it's a small group of individuals, it's still good to get more information from all of them. A lot of our clients are actually serving other clients, whether it's internal or external, and there's different use cases, and I kind of boiled it down to these 5 for us. There's more than that, but every single one of these buckets here, or some version of it, they might use a different lingo, might need a different deliverable, and for us to understand that and work with the client to get that information has been very valuable for our clients and the stakeholders behind it, so that we're all speaking the same language. I'll just add to that by saying I don't think this job is ever done, right? Because the new technology is getting added. There's new use cases on the end client side, so it's a constant education from us to the client and a constant education back to us from the client, so we can understand everyone's needs. One thing on the same kind of level is being able to deliver to different platforms with actionable data. Yes, it's actionable when we deliver it to our first client, but understanding the other client's needs and getting it into their platforms makes it more actionable throughout the life cycle of the project and throughout the different stakeholders. For us, kind of a key thing there is to make sure we have a lot of software licenses ourselves so that we have the flexibility to take in data from different platforms, whether it's ones that we have in-house or ones that our partners have on the aerial side, and then really understanding, right, this client needs it delivered as a PDF, right, a signed and sealed ALTA, but they also have a division that does planning and they want it delivered in an Esri Geo database. And so there's a lot that we've done there, and it's And it's changing, so it's always something that we're learning and doing more of, but it's been very key for our success with natural resources and infrastructure. So lessons learned and best practices. The value of well-defined requirements up front is key. We try to do everything we can there to get that, and then again, work with our clients to make sure that we're updating it appropriately. Combining data collection efforts as much as possible. So if we're going to go to California or somewhere and knowing that there might be another project, we've saved our clients a lot of money by doing multiple at once on the survey side and on the aerial, and then combining the different multimodal data collection itself. And then understanding the stage of the project and how to anticipate the next. So with a lot of the projects that we work on, there's like different stages. They might say, hey, we just need the topo. And maybe we know that the final topo and alta are coming soon. Then we will tell our field guys, hey, spend another 2 days out there, collect that data, because we know it's coming. So, and then data access to as many people as possible within a organization, right? How do we learn more about our clients? How do we share more data to show value throughout the chain? So our job isn't just capturing the data, it's the accessibility, actionable, and continuous value throughout the project lifecycle. So that's the main lessons we've learned.